Hi, everyone. Welcome to Strength from Stress to Success, your mind body mindset program. I want you to introduce you to the first concept we're going to talk about here is an introduction to stress. So, what is stress and how are you going to work on the thing that's most important to you? Now, stress is the body's natural body response to events and situations that trigger that fight or flight response. So, what is that fight or flight response? It is when you really start to face that anxiety and that panic and start to stress about things. And then you want to either run away or you want to fight. So, emotional stress occurs when there's a gap between your expectations and reality that leaves you feeling like you're drowning, or those waves of emotions or thoughts are preventing you from feeling happy and living life on your own terms. Now these problems envelop in your world, leaving you feeling incompetent and paralyzed. Now stress can be beneficial in short bursts. It helps us avoid danger, but when there's prolonged long stress and repeated stress, it can really impact you. Now, there's different types of stress, as you guys know. Acute stress that's short term, that can be thrilling and exciting, as if you're going to, either jumping off a bridge in a bungee jump, or skydiving, or going in the ocean. But when you have that acute stress, as in you're worried about something like a health anxiety, or you're worried about your kids, or you're worried about something that's happening in your life, like a job stress, it just happens frequently, it can really impact you. Now, chronic stress is long term, unrelenting stress. You're worried about something so deeply, you have no let up from it. You're always in that sympathetic mode, that flight and fight mode, and it damages your health over time. And we'll go into all of this in great detail, so don't worry about all the words I'm using. Now, your stress response includes you releasing hormones like cortisol and adrenaline, which can affect your various body functions. Now, there's positive stress or there's negative stress. Positive stress is, like I said to you, those challenges or changes like either bungee jumping, or you're experiencing you're going for a major interview or a job presentation, you're running the marathon, something that excites you, that can stimulate and enhance that attention, that drive, that output. Or the negative stress, that's perceived as negative because it rises when you cannot cope or you don't know how to adapt to certain stressful situations. It's associated with feeling of anxiety and worry. It can lead to decreased performance like burnout, physical health issues. You know, the situation, you can lose your job or you break up with your partner, or this overloading of work that you cannot handle at all. The impact on stress in your body is that it can impact your mind and your body and emotions, and mainly it can impact your behavior. You might just really get very emotional at one point, or be very upset and sad at one point. Physically, you might get headaches or tight muscles or fatigue. Mentally, you might not be able to think about things. You struggle with simple decisions, your thinking becomes muddled. Emotionally, you get irritable, apathetic, like you lose your confidence. All of these things can impact your behavior, and you will find yourself accident prone, like sleepless nights or feeling really restless. So lots of things that go on, but of course, as you know, long term health problems are your heart disease or your high blood pressure or your diabetes or your other illnesses. And it's important to think about these things. Now, stress and emotional well being. So, what I believe is that stress can really affect your emotional state, leading to feelings of overwhelm, overthinking, irritable, insecurity, emotional instability. It can affect your relationships. It doesn't only mean a relationship with a partner, it can affect your relation with children, parents, neighbors, your overall quality of life. It can be tough and make you less enjoy your life. When you're stressed, you become impatient and get upset easily. It causes you to have fight with family or friends. You might also want to do fun things that you usually enjoy. It make you feel tired all the time. It lower your overall quality of life. So dealing with stress is important, and keeping your relationship healthy and enjoying your life is really important. So that's why we're learning all these things. Now, how do you identify the common sources of stress and work in relationships? There's an amazing worksheet that is attached to this. Now, in this worksheet, I call it the ABC method because those triggers that awaken your awareness to that situation. So I call it the activation. When you're conscious of what's happening, when physiologically and psychologically you find then what your beliefs are about those things, and you find a different way of thinking and taking action. These are alternate ways of thinking, creates a new neural pathway to your brain. And over time, you can practice and empower you to create a fresh response that's rational, safe, back in the driving seat, for you to regain control of that situation, improve your self esteem and confidence and your well being. And in a minute, I'm going to talk about this worksheet and I will share this with you. So, understanding stress is important, and having what impact it has on your life is first step in managing your stress and how you're going to reflect on that personal experience. So, I'm going to just pause this and just go back to what we're going to do with that worksheet and how we're going. Now, I want to talk to you about this worksheet. I call it the ABC method because it's really easy to remember. So, the first thing in the ABC method is, what are your triggers? What are the incidences? Now, I know some of you in the group have like health anxiety. So, what is occurring in your life that's making you feel like this? That's the key, right? What, who you were with, what's happening, where, what you were doing, when did it start? So, just imagine you see a bulldog and that you're really scared of these dogs. I'm actually a little frightened of bulldogs because they can be quite scary. Not, that overly anxious, but just a bit scared. So, what are my thoughts and images going through? That what did things you say? What is worst can happen? So my thoughts are, when I see that bulldog, is I remember as a child that bulldog came running towards me and it really, really frightened me. They didn't attack me, but they can be scary. Maybe the dog will bite me, I will be struggling, I will have some physical symptoms, and I'll have to go to the doctors for, injections. So all of these things are running to my mind if I see a bulldog. But with you guys, it might be different. It might be health anxiety. It might be something that's worrying you. So, what are those thoughts and images going to your mind? It's nice to keep track of them. And what does this mean for you? What is the worst that can happen? Now, the last part of the C is, what are the physical sensations that's going through your body? What do you feel? What is that behavior? So my behavior would be, I have high, my heartbeat will go, I'll be sweating, I'll be trembling, I will freeze, I want to run away, I wouldn't want. So why are you feeling like this? What are you doing that will make you feel like this? Yes, a bulldog's scary, but what's occurring in your life that makes you feel like this? And why is it happening to you? So you might avoid that situation, you might run away or you shout. But for you guys, I'm talking about the bulldog, but you're thinking of something else. And that something else means that when you're faced with that situation, that's really, really scary. That's scary for you. What are your triggers? That's the A. Your beliefs. What does it mean? What's happening in your life? And then C means what actions that come up, what physical sensations come up. Are you fearing? Are you trembling? Are you crying? Are you upset? Why is all of these things? And I'm going to give you tips and techniques in this module itself for you to work through. But at the moment, I'm just talking about, we need to identify these things. What is your unhelpful thinking with these things? So thank you for watching. Please go on to the next module where I'll explain a bit further.